What's going on, people? Welcome back to the United Stand. It's another 10 a.m. and look, familiar face. I've been here 3 days in a row now, 10 a.m. I might as well just take over this time. This is my time now, 10 a.m. sessions, 10 a.m. shows on United Stand. But obviously, the guys are back. They're back from Dublin. Like I said yesterday, the show was great. I'm sure you've probably seen like pictures and stuff like that floating around. They actually had that guy from, was it The Script? Was it the guy from The Script perform? I can't remember his name, but they had one of the guys from The Script and he was, had his guitar and he was doing that performances. So, it was a good show. It was a very good show. But like I said, the guys are back home. They're all back home now, so I'm sure tomorrow, maybe later on today, you might see Mark on the show, or tomorrow you might see Mark on the show. But look, it's me today. It's me today again, 10 a.m. Also, big up to Terry as well. I don't actually know Terry personally, but I've seen a couple of his shows, and they seem to be pretty good, and a lot of people like him as well. So everyone who's kind of been holding it down in Manchester, or holding down for the channel, big up to everyone, and Greg as well, the producer. He's been holding it down as well with me for this show. But look, we've got some news and we've got some quick updates on what's been going on with United now. First of all, it is international break. Yeah, as you all know, it's international break. And a few United players, I say a few, there's about 5 United players who all played yesterday in the same game. Like, they all played together in the same game. Denmark played Portugal. I can't remember exactly what the game was for, but I know they're going to play again in the quarterfinal for something. I think it's the Nations League or something like that. But they're going to play again, I think, on Sunday. But they all played yesterday. I think it was Dalot, Bruno, Eriksson, Højlund and Dorgu came on for a few minutes at the end. And Eriksson actually missed a penalty, which is crazy. Eriksson missed a penalty, which, I mean, doesn't fill me up with a lot of confidence. We are in the Europa League, so we're going to need our penalty kick takers to... I feel like if he was one of the guys who was in, out playing for us at a later stage in the game, he will be a penalty kick taker. So hopefully that's just a little bit of a... We don't really want to look at that. We don't want to talk about that. Let's just kind of hope if he does take a penalty for United, he does score it. But when I didn't actually watch the game, but when I, read up on the game and kind of looked at the highlights, he had a decent game. Eriksson actually had a pretty decent game. He played for most of it as well. I think he played about 86 minutes and he had an all right game. So that's a positive for United. However, Højlund scored the only goal, in fact the winner. He scored the winner for Denmark. And it was in about the 78th minute. He scored the winner and he also hit the Sue. He did, the Sue against Ronaldo. And I saw a lot of people kind of, making a little bit of a fuss about it, saying that he was mocking him. He definitely wasn't mocking him. He 100% was kind of doing it out of more like, he's probably one of his icons or one of his role models, Ronaldo. Most young players, who were attacking players looked up to Ronaldo. That's probably one of the reasons why they all started playing football, because of how iconic Ronaldo was as a player. So for him to be able to score against Ronaldo, even though Ronaldo is like 40 years old, he probably definitely did it just out of respect, more out of respect, which I think I don't think that's that bad of a thing. I think everyone's done it. I've seen so many players do the Sue against Ronaldo just because why not? I'd do the same thing. If I played against Ronaldo and I scored, I'm hitting 3 Sues. I'm doing one and I'm doing another one and I'm going to do another one just before I get to the halfway line. He's one of my goats as well. So respect to Højlund for getting that goal. Hopefully, I mean, that's 2 goals technically that's 2 goals in 2 games. I'm taking that as 2 goals in 2 games for Højlund. He's back, yeah, he's back. Hopefully he gets another one in his next game against Portugal again, like I said. And then obviously when we come back, I think we're playing Nottingham Forest in our first game back for United. So hopefully he can keep the streak going, get a bit more confidence in his game, and he can continue scoring. But what do you guys think? Any of you guys who've watched the game, what do you think about how the United players played? I think Bruno played for about 80-something minutes as well. I don't think Bruno had the greatest game, from what I read up anyway. From what I read up, I don't think Bruno had the greatest game. Same with Dalot. I think Dalot got taken off as well. But I mean, it's international football, so you never know. You never know exactly. It depends, really. Some players just play amazing internationally, and I remember Pogba. Pogba used to be like one of the best players in the world for France. Like, he was like different level, like a different category when he was playing for France, and then for United, he was a bit inconsistent, I'll say. So a couple of super chats in already. Make sure you're sending in your super chats for this show, because for the guys who've been here for the past couple of days, I like to really bring in different topics and have little debates and interactions with obviously you guys who are in the chat. So make sure you're sending in your super chats and any other conversations that you want to have, and we're going to debate it. We're going to have some good conversation. Super chat from Robert McCormack. It's good to be back. Dublin people are amazing. Oh, Robert, I'm guessing you flew out then to the show. I've also heard a lot of good things about, Irish people or Dublin people. Dublin people, is that the right term? Dublin people? Do they have like an actual name? I'll just say people from Dublin. But a lot of the people that come to United games that we speak to are from Ireland, and a lot of them are very friendly. So I gotta give a big up to any Irish people watching. Super chat from Slow Sports News. Me and Rob McCormack had a blast in Dublin. Fair enough. Hope you guys had a good time. And like I said, innit, hopefully the next one we'll probably see. I'll be there. The next one I'm gonna make sure I'm there. How about that? I'm gonna make sure I'm there. Hopefully I can meet a couple of you guys as well. Another super chat from Edom FIFA. We should sign Gus Scott Morris from Southend. I'll be so real. I have no idea who Gus Scott Morris. Is that like one of them names? One of them, them names that I probably shouldn't have read out. Gus Scott Morris from Southend. Hopefully it's not. But yeah, I mean, I'll look into it. Oh, he's a Danish international, my bad. Sorry, my bad. I don't know who he is. But yeah, shout out to him. I'm gonna look into him and see what he's about. But anyway, yeah, so that was a game yesterday, last night. I'm sure there's a couple other United players who might be playing today. I don't actually know because I'm not. I think actually no, De Ligt played yesterday as well. He came on as a substitute for Netherlands. Obviously we know Xerxes didn't actually get called up, which is actually very interesting. I thought he would have got called up, to be fair, because he does actually have a decent record for them, but he didn't get called up for this international break. But De Ligt did play. I'm not sure how he played though, but I know he did play. But anyway, okay, one more super chat before I move on. Mazraoui, shout out to Kev wherever you are. That might even be Kev actually. Why didn't they invite you to Dublin? I'm holding it down. I'm holding it down at the studio. Someone's got to do the overtime. You know what I mean? I'm holding it down at the studio. But like I said, don't worry. Next time I'll try and make an effort to be there. But look, let's move on. Let's move on from international talk, because let's be honest, international games and international breaks are kind of dead. We don't really me personally, I don't really like them because it just breaks the flow. Breaks the flow of club football. Like, I feel like at this time, especially March, April, May, we get into the tail end of the season. That's when all the games are really interesting. Every game's a big game. Nobody wants to drop any. I know no one wants to drop points anyway, but every 3 points matters. And you get into the later stages of the European competitions like Champions League, Europa League, and then a 2-week international break just comes, and it's like you just completely ruin the flow of football. But look, I want to talk first of all about Mason Greenwood. I know you didn't think I was going to say that, but Mason Greenwood. Now, obviously, Mason Greenwood doesn't play for United right now. He's obviously left certain circumstances, but he obviously plays for Marseille, and he has been playing very well. He has been playing very well. I think he's a second top goal scorer in League One with about 15 goals. I think he's just behind Ousmane Dembele, who obviously, as we all know, he's having an amazing season. Arguably probably one of the top 5 players in the world right now, Dembele. But just behind him in League One is Mason Greenwood. So that should kind of show to you how well he's doing. Like I said, I think Marseille, let me try and see where they are on the table. I think they are challenging, they have a second, or they're challenging for a top 4 place. I think they are second, though, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they are second in the league, and looking for like a guaranteed Champions League spot. But Mason Greenwood is probably one of their best players, if not their best player. Now, the news that has actually come out is around his relationship with De Zerbi. Now, anyone who doesn't know who De Zerbi is, obviously he used to manage Brighton in the Premier League and was doing an amazing job for them, especially in terms of his scouting and his talent hunting, and obviously the style of play that he used to play. In fact, there was a lot of talks about De Zerbi being the next manager for United. Let's not forget that happened. I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember when Ten Hag was struggling, there was a lot of talks about De Zerbi potentially coming to Man United. Now, the news that's come out is from, I'm reading from the MEM, and it says, Mason Greenwood's work rate concerns, boss is shocked, fit of rage, private telling off. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but more or less, he's having problems. He's having a bit of a situation at Marseille. And I know this isn't the Marseille stand, but the reason why this is interesting is because it's a huge chance that Mason Greenwood might get sold from Marseille. Now, if anyone knows about the deal that United cut with Marseille is, we have a 50% sell-on clause. 50%. Now, look, I play FIFA. Yeah, I'm sure a few guys who also play FIFA. When you're negotiating your contracts on career mode, it's usually like 5%, 10%, 15%. Maybe you might get a 20, 25 if you're lucky and you're a good negotiator. We have a 50% sell-on clause for Mason Greenwood. That means I'll give you an example. I wrote this down before. So if Marseille bought Mason Greenwood for 26.6 million, right? Let's just say, for example, he gets sold for 46.6 million pounds or euro. I can't remember which one, but let's just say pounds. That's 20 million pound profit for Marseille. We would get 50% of that profit. So we would make 10 million pounds if Marseille sell Mason Greenwood for 46 million pounds. Bear in mind, like I said, Mason Greenwood's playing amazingly right now. They're definitely going to get at least 50 million for him, in my opinion. I think the level that he's playing at, he's probably going to go to a better club. I don't know what teams are looking for him right now. Maybe a Juventus or a Barcelona. I doubt it'd be like a Real Madrid or anything like that. But it'll be a decent club who have a bit of money to spend. So let's just say they make about 20 million pound profit. We're gonna get half of that. We're gonna get half of that money. And bear in mind, look, Manchester United are broke. I think we all know that by now. We are broke. Sir Jim made that very, very clear in his interview. Manchester United are broke. So 10 million pounds for us is a lot of money. Bear in mind, we're clutching at straws in terms of, trying to save money with cutting costs here and there, £40,000 cut here, £100,000 cut here. We could make £10 million just off Mason Greenwood if he gets sold, which I think is really interesting because, I mean, that's a player who doesn't even play for us, but we actually the fact that we made a good enough deal or a smart enough deal with Marseille that, you know what, if you guys do sell him, we want a huge amount of that profit. I think it's whoever made that deal, I don't know who was in charge at the time. I don't think it was Ineos. I'm pretty sure it was one of the other guys. the guys that were there before Ineos, it was probably one of them. But congratulations. Well done to whoever made that deal because we might be getting a bit of money from this Mason Greenwood deal. Super chat from Nathan Medhurst. Terry spoke so much sense last night with his incoming and outgoing of players. Why didn't we scout him earlier? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about scout him earlier? Who are we talking about? Let me know which player you're talking about scouting him. Oh, scouting Terry. Oh, I thought you meant like a football player. Why didn't we scout him? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But big up to Terry, though. Again, I've not actually spoken to him before, but big up to Terry. Hopefully I got to meet him one time in real life. But yeah, that's the Mason Greenwood story. We're going to have to keep tracks because I don't think he's played the last couple of games for them. I think De Zerbi's actually taken him out the team completely. He's taken him out the squad completely, and I think his reasoning was, I think his reasoning was based on his fitness and his ability in training, in terms of his effort in training. That was the reason why he has taken him out of the team. Which, I mean, look, how many times are we going to have United players or ex-United players have problem in training? Like, it feels like every single United player that we somehow has problems in training. But listen, whether it's true or not, that's irrelevant. I kind of want him to get sold just so that we can get that profit. Now, that's the main reason why I want him to get sold. But look, interesting news there. Like I said, we're going to keep tabs on that story and hopefully we get something out of it. Now, moving on to some more news, and this is about a player that I've actually never spoke about on this channel, but we have been linked with him for such a long time. I genuinely feel like we've been linked to him for about 4 years now. Maybe not 4 years, maybe like, yeah, I'm going to say at least 2 years we've been linked with this player, and that player is Jonathon David. Now, if anyone doesn't know who Jonathon David is, he's a Canadian player. I think he was born in America, born in like Brooklyn or something, but he's a Canadian international, plays for Lille, 25 years old. He's a striker. Well, he's an attacking player, but he's mainly a striker anyway. But he can play in like as an attacking 10 or like a second striker, but mainly he's a striker, he's a goal scorer. Now, listen to this. Over the past 3 years in League One, he scored over 20 goals. Each season, the last 3 years, over 20 goals. Bearing in mind, he's actually the third top goal scorer in League One. So it goes Ousmane Dembele, it goes Mason Greenwood, and then it goes Jonathon David. All three of them, I mean, Dembele's not actually linked with us. I'm about to lie and say they've all been linked with us at some point, but Dembele's not been linked with us at all. But obviously we've had the news about Greenwood, but now we're talking about the next top goal scorer in League One, which is Jonathon David. Now, he's, like I said, he's 25 years old, plays for Lille. Same team as, obviously, Angel Gomez, which we spoke about yesterday morning, if you guys remember. But he's a prolific goal scorer. He is someone who is going to get goals one way or another. Like I said, he's got over 20 goals already this season. I think he's got about 24 goals. 23 or 24 goals this season, and I think 10 assists. So he's good at also creating for other players and facilitating for the players around him. Now, when I did a little bit more research on Jonathon David, just to actually really understand his game, first of all, his contract ends this season. So he's open for talks anywhere and everywhere. Now, the news that actually came out about Jonathon David, and it wasn't really news, it was more about what he said. I think he was asked by Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher about potentially playing for, I think, Real Madrid? Somewhere in the Liga, probably Real Madrid or Barcelona. That's the only real two teams that anyone cares about. I'm not saying that, but a lot of people really want to play for in the Liga. But he did say that playing in the Liga or playing for Real Madrid is a dream of his, or it's something that he's always wanted to do. However, it's not. He understands that he might not ever play there, and the Premier League is still open for him to go to. He doesn't mind playing in the Premier League. It's not like he's completely ruled out any English teams, because he would love to play for a La Liga team. He would not mind to come to the Premier League. Now, bearing in mind, we are not the only team that's been linked to him. Arsenal have been linked to him. Liverpool have been linked to him. Chelsea are linked to everyone, so let's just put them in the conversation anyway. You know Chelsea are going to be, for some reason, Chelsea, even though they've just bought like 10 strikers or 10 attacking players in the past year, they're going to want to buy him regardless, just because United are linked with him. But there's a lot of teams, or quite a few teams anyway, that are linked with a lot of strikers across Europe. Now, we all know that Arsenal desperately need a striker. I mean, they've been playing with Mikel Merino as their striker for the past however many games, because Havertz has been injured. Liverpool desperately need another attacking player, because obviously Núñez, in my opinion, is just not good enough. I don't care what people say, he's getting better, he's just not good enough. And Salah might be leaving. In fact, Salah probably is leaving at the end of the season. He said it already himself. So Liverpool are going to be in for another striker. And now, obviously, United, we are desperately, I'm not saying desperately, we do have Rasmus Højlund, but we are going to be looking for a more experienced striker to come in the summer. So there are a couple options. We kind of just have to sell the best option. We might have to sell the stadium to him. We might have to say to him, look, Jonathon David, look, we've got a is it £2 billion? £2 billion stadium. Like, do you want to play here every week? Like, just look at the facilities. Look what we've got coming. Because the reality is that we're probably not going to be finishing higher than Liverpool or Arsenal in the next few years. Let's be very honest. But like I said, let's talk a bit about his actual play style. So like I said, he plays more as like a second striker in like a 4-4-2 formation with Angel Gomez, by the way. So that could be like a double sweep in there, if that's even possible. Both of them, their contracts are ending, so they'd actually both be free. So if we were to get both of those players, it would just be conversations about wages. You know, I think that's crazy, to be fair. If Lille were to lose Angel Gomez and Jonathon David in the same season to the same team, sorry about that, to the same team, I think that'd be insane. But he's got a great link-up play. His progressive passes are high up there in League One. He likes to play in the pockets as well. He's a player that would actually drop in deep and link-up play to facilitate on the wingers or any other attacking players that are playing around him. But he's also a ball-to-feet kind of player, similar to Xerxes. You know, you'd rather have the ball to his feet than play in behind and be like a runner. More like a Højlund. Højlund's more like he would get in behind, you know, make them runs like a Garnacho as well. But Jonathon David, like I said, he's more like a Xerxes kind of player who would drop in deep, play in the pockets, link up, play with the wingers, receive the ball, and he'll turn and actually drive at the defence. Now, I think that'd be interesting to play with in terms of the players he's going to be playing with in terms of United players, because if he was to come to the team and play as, he could actually play as a striker or a 10 now that I think about it. He could probably play in that Xerxes position if we go and bring in another striker as well. But it depends on what Amrin wants. Amrin might say, you know what, yeah, he's an out-and-out striker. I want him to just play as our focal number 9. But he could also play, like I said, in one of those 10 positions. It depends on what Ineos want. Ineos and Amrin could go out and bring in a 10, and then I think he plays a striker, because he definitely starts. Like I said, 20+ goals in the last 3 seasons, 24 goals this season already. He's a starter regardless. But we'll see exactly where he plays and how Amrin wants to play him. Super chat from Patrick Lynch. Big up Mauds. Well done holding on the fort the last few days. Thank you. It's been Yo, it's been a good few days. Like a lot of you probably know, I don't actually do a lot of solo shows. I'm more on the build-up shows and the forums, but the past few days have been all right. Past few days have been some decent shows. So big, like I said, big up to me and Terry. We've been holding it down the past couple of days. But look, let me know if you guys would want a player like Jonathon David at Manchester United. In fact, should we do a poll? Let's do a poll. Let me bring two strikers to the poll. Let me bring Jonathon David, and let's say, who's another striker that you guys would want to bring to United? We spoke about Osimhen yesterday morning, but who's another striker that you want to see at Manchester United that should be in this poll? Or maybe not striker, but a 10/striker, an attacking player. Who do you want to see in this poll? I'm saying Jonathon David. Osimhen is obviously in that conversation, but I want to put somebody else in there. Mbeumo, Mateta, Cunha, more of a 10. Are we saying Cunha? I'm seeing a few Cunhas in here. Vlahovic, he's actually another player that's been linked to him. Maybe we could talk about him on another day. Delap, Watkins, Gyökeres actually, not Ronaldo. I don't think we're going to end up going in for Ronaldo anytime soon. He's probably going to retire in the next 2-3 years. Boniface, Cunha. Okay, we'll do Cunha. Let's put Jonathon David and Cunha. Obviously plays for Wolves. Let's put both of those players. Did Cunha not just sign a new contract recently, actually? I don't know. But Cunha and Jonathon David, let's put a poll out there and let's see who would you guys rather come to United in the summer? Jonathon David or Cunha? Me personally, you know what it is? Because I've watched more of Cunha, I just know more about his game and I'm more confident because I've seen more of him because he played in the Premier League. I'm more confident in how he plays and what he can bring to the team. Whereas with Jonathon David, mainly I've just seen highlights and obviously everyone can read stats and look at, you know, certain statistics and whatnot, but I've not actually seen him play a lot of 90 minutes. But from what I've heard, he's a real deal. He is the guy. I'm going to say for my vote, I'm going to vote for Cunha. Cunha is more of a 10. He isn't really much of a striker. Jonathon David can play both of them, but I'm going to say Cunha just because I've seen more of him, a bit more confident in his game. But look, we'll leave that poll going. Make sure you get your votes in, and we'll see. Maybe even both. If we get both of them, you know what, Ineos, I would never say anything about you ever again. Honestly, actually, no. We'll see. But if they get both of them, fair play. Very much fair play for Ineos for getting them both in and Amrin. But look, let's move on. Oh, there's one more super chat just come in from Nathan Medhurst. I think we got so lucky with getting Heaven so cheap. I hope we don't rely on the system too much, although it's a low risk if the players we get won't work. Okay, I'm going to start off with, I think we got so lucky with getting Heaven so cheap. 100%. 1,000%. Aiden Heaven is the truth. I don't care if he's only played 2 full games, or not even 2 full games, but I don't care if he's only started 2 games for Manchester United. Aiden Heaven is the real deal. And I know people are going to say, oh, you're reactionary, it's too early. No. I've seen enough. I know the capabilities that he has. The fact that he's only 18 years old. 18 years old. Look, I made this point on one of the build-up shows. We got Aiden Heaven for 1 million. And we got Lenny Euro for about 49 million or like around 50 million. To me, those players both have a similar potential. Right now, from what I've seen from Aiden Heaven and what I've seen from Lenny Euro, I see a similar player in terms of progression and growth. I think they can both hit a similar height of their game, a similar ceiling. They both got a potential which is super high in terms of top level football. And I'm not just saying that because, I don't know, just because they both play for United. Genuinely, from what I've seen from Aiden Heaven, his awareness of the game, his maturity, his passion for the team, his passion for the club. Especially when you go to games, you get to actually look at players off camera, if you know what I mean. Like, you get to see how players act and react when they haven't got the ball. When I'm watching Aiden Heaven play, when I watched him in the Arsenal game and I watched him in, there's another game that he played, I can't remember which one it was. But he's super passionate, he's super energetic. He's actually speaking to the other players and he's directing other players on where to go and where they should be. That doesn't happen for 18-year-olds. 18-year-olds usually just come in and they're just like, you know what, let me just get through this game without making a mistake. You know, Aiden Heaven, he's pointing here and there. He's saying, yeah, you come here, yeah, you drop back and you do. He's actually directing play. He's confident enough that confident enough in his own ability that he thinks, you know what, I'm one of the, let me not say one of the best players, but I should be here. I should be in this team. And because I should be in this team, there's no fear in him to say, I'm going to sit back and be quiet. No, he understands how good he is and he understands the level that he can play at. And I think that's similar to Lenny Yoro as well. I think Yoro is a bit more quieter. He seems a bit more, like he's a bit more quieter on the pitch. He doesn't do as much. But in terms of straight up ability, Lenny Yoro is also the real deal. Yes, injuries is a bit of a concern now for both of them. They're both injured. But I think if we can manage them properly and we can nurture them properly, they are 100% starters for Manchester United in the future. I think him, Yoro, Aiden Heaven, and De Ligt, that three as a centre back, three as a left centre back, central centre back, and a right centre back. In the future, yes, we are good. We are good. Yes, obviously the Ligt is a little bit older than both of them, so maybe when they hit their prime, the Ligt will be about 30 or something like that. But I fit that as a centre back three. We are good for the future, trust me. So big up to Aiden Heaven and also Yoro. To Lenny Yoro. And yeah, the fact that we got it for £1 million, absolute steal. Thank you, Arsenal. Thank you, Arsenal, for not realising what you had. But also, move on to the rest of your super chat. I hope we don't rely on the system too much, although it's a low risk if the players we get don't work. Now, I actually had this conversation with a couple of United fans. I actually want to get into this a little bit. The thing with Amorim and this 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 system, whatever you want to call it, is I feel like it relies on specialist players in each position for it to work. Now, the crazy thing is, but not crazy, but the interesting thing is that even though it relies on specialist players, for example, someone like Dorgu, for you to actually be able to play in the system, you have to be super versatile, like very versatile. You have to be able to play multiple positions for you to be able to play in this formation, if that makes sense, in this system. For example, let me say someone like Dorgu. Dorgu has to be able to be a left back, but also be able to play as a left winger for him to be able to play in the system. If you can only play as a left winger, someone like, let's say, Garnacho, who really truly he can only play as a left winger, he's not necessarily, I don't think he'd be that good as a left back anyway. That's the reason why he can't play in that left wing back position. And it's the same, for example, one of the centre-back positions. For you to be able to play as a right-sided centre-back or left-sided centre-back, you've got to be able to play as a centre-back, but also as a full-back, because there's going to be times in the game where you are going to be the full-back in the team, because the left wing-back or the right wing-back is going to have gone so far forward, you are now the official full-back for the team. So I feel like for this formation and this system, the players that we need to get in have to be specialists, but they also have to be super versatile. Now, I get what you're saying about if it's low risk if the players don't work out. But I think in terms of transfers, we have to go out and get players who can fill those roles. If we don't get that and we just get players who are just good, like players who are just decent players, all that's going to happen is they're just going to fill up positions which they're not suited to. And the last thing you want is to bring in a player who's just a good centre-back. We put him at right centre-back and all of a sudden it's like, oh, but he can't play full-back though. He can't play as a full-back or he can't play as a left-back or right-back or whatever, but we needed to get a certified left centre-back or right centre-back and we didn't go and get it because we just wanted to go and get a good player. For Amorim's system to work, we really have to get specialist players who are really versatile in their position. I don't know if that's going to work for every single player because, like you said, if one player doesn't work, let's just say a player gets injured, like Dorgu, we have no replacement for that. We can't just put a random player in there. We can't just put Aiden Heaven at left wing back. We can't just put, I don't know, Mazraoui or Dalot because it's not going to be the same impact. And I feel like for other teams, let's say a team like City or Arsenal, when they go and bring in a player, let's say they're going to bring in a left back, that's all they have to do. Just bring in a left back and they're good. They don't have to worry about if he can play as left wing. They don't have to worry if he can play as any other position. They can just bring in any kind of left back who's decent and that's all right. They're sorted. Whereas for us, because this system is so specialised, it's very difficult for us to find players that can really suit the system. Anyway, that's just something I was thinking the other day when I had a conversation with one of my United friends. I think it's difficult for us to find really good players in each position because of how specific our system is, or Amorim's system is. But look, I'm going to actually go back to this poll quickly. Oh, wow. Fair enough. So the poll is, who would you bring to Man United? Jonathon David or Cunha. 76% say Cunha and 24% say Jonathon David. I'm not surprised, I'll be honest, because I actually said, when I think about it, I'm not surprised, because I actually said Cunha as well, just based on the fact that I've watched it more. And I think a lot of people who are probably, you know, in the chat right now have watched Cunha a lot more, so they understand or they know his game a little bit better compared to Jonathon David. Now, obviously, like people said, it's two different positions. One of them is mainly a striker, and one of them is mainly a 10. So hopefully we could even get both of them. Like I said, hopefully we can get both of them. But is that likely? I don't know. Like I said, David will be on free anyway, regardless. But look, let's move on to another topic. Now I want to talk about, there's some news that came out about Jarrad Branthwaite. Now, again, this is another player who, I'll be so real, I'll be so honest with you guys, I'm so bored of talking about this guy. Like, if he comes to United, he comes. If he doesn't come, I'm not bothered anymore, because I feel like we spent so long, was it last season or the season before that, talking about this guy every single week. Let's get Branthwaite in, let's get Branthwaite in. He never came. He never came, and in my opinion, he actually dropped off. Like, I actually think he was way better when we were going after him compared to now. And the news is Manchester United are ready to go all out to sign Jarrad Branthwaite this summer, but a deal may hinge on Champions League qualification. I'll be so honest with you. I'm not bothered if we don't get him. I'm so unbothered if we get Branthwaite. I don't even think he's all that. I'll be so honest. I don't think he's all that. I think that there's so much hype for these British players who play in the Premier League. I just think he'll end up being another hype. He's one of them hyped players that people get gassed about, and then all of a sudden he comes to the team and it's like, oh, he's not actually as good as he thought he was. He's not all that. I'll be so real. I don't think he's all that, but for some reason we're just linked to him all the time. Look, if Branthwaite, if you're watching this, if you want to come to United, just make up your mind. Make up your mind now. Forget about Champions League qualification, because that's not up to you. We have to think about that ourselves, innit? We're not getting Champions League so we can get you. Yeah, no offense, so respectfully, we need to get Champions League for a lot of other reasons, yeah, because we're broke. Yeah, so we need to get Champions League, and we want to play in Europe next season. But no one's thinking, let's get Champions League qualification just so we can get Branthwaite in. That just doesn't make sense. Someone said it's going to be another Maguire. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, facts. I actually believe that. No disrespect to Maguire, because he has had spells where he was actually very good for us. Even this season, he had spells where he's good for us. But I just don't. For someone who costs so much, and at the time I think it was about 75 million, if we had spent that 75 million on Branthwaite, knowing that we could have had a £1 million aid in heaven, which we probably wouldn't have ended up getting, it worked out for the better, in my opinion. We ended up getting we ended up spending £1 million on Aid in Heaven and £50 million on Lenny Euro, when we could have ended up spending 75 million on Jarrad Branthwaite. Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. I'll happily take the defenders that we've got right now, and we got Delict again, and we've got Mazraoui. So I think the defenders that we got so far, I'll take them. Plus Martinez. Plus who else is there? What other centre backs do we have right now? I think that's it, actually, because Lindelof is going to end up leaving and Luke Shaw might end up leaving. So, yeah, those three players, yeah, I'm genuinely not too concerned about in terms of them coming to United. But, yeah, let me know in the chat, actually. Let me know, what do you guys think about Branthwaite? Is he another player that you've still got your eyes on? Do you think he'll be decent for the team or decent for Amram's system? He's obviously a left-footed player, so that is a position that we're going to need, because, Martinez, he's obviously out for quite a while. Luke Shaw, who knows what his future is? Genuinely, who knows what his future is? Is he a player that you want to see at Manchester United? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. Now, look, what I want to do, because I might not actually end up coming on another solo show for, I don't know when my next solo show is going to be, but I really want to actually talk about the United team that's. See that it is an international break, and there's no real football. Let's go through. Let's have a little bit of a. Let's play a little bit of a game, innit? Let's play a little bit of a game. We're gonna play a game that's gonna be, what am I gonna call it? Let's play a underrated. I feel like overrated is a bit harsh, because I feel like it's gonna bring a lot of negativity. Let's just say underrated and. What's the word where they're properly rated? Let's say properly rated, or whatever you want to call it, for the United team so far. We're going to go through a few players, the team that's been playing so far this season. And I really want to let you know you guys' opinion. Which players do you think are underrated? Oh, let's do this actually. I've got a better idea. Let's do starter, bench, and underrated. They're the three categories that I want you guys to put in the chat. If you think they're a starter for United, a bench player, or you think they're just underrated and they should a bit more light on this, we should shed a bit more light on these players, yeah? Someone said well rated, yeah, that's probably a better way of putting it. So let's just start off with Onana. In fact, I saw a clip about Onana yesterday where he was directing the free kicks. That made me, I was actually crying when I saw that video, because I thought, what other team and what other goalkeeper directs free kicks? Like, he was literally there pointing, saying, okay, I'm not talking about as a goalkeeper, by the way. He was directing his team's free kick. Like, he was directing, I think, Cameroon's free kicks. Like, Cameroon had a free kick and he was at the wall, or he was at the ball saying, I think you should do this, and I think maybe if you put it over the wall. He was doing a lot, which I think is hilarious. I don't know how on earth or why on earth he was doing it, but that actually made me laugh so much. But Onana, what are we saying for Onana? What are we saying? Sell? Oh, wait, was sell one of the options? I don't know. But starter, let's just say sell anyway. Sell, bench, or underrated. What do you think his rating is? A lot of people are saying sell. Let's be honest. We're not going to sell Onana. Let's just be very clear. Onana's not a player who is going to end up being sold. We don't have the facilities to go and even bring in a top world-class keeper right now. We don't have the ability. In my opinion, wow, 100% sell today, really? Okay, well, there's a lot of sell in the chat. Someone said Pickford does. If a goalkeeper is good at it, he can help his teammates. In fact, yeah, who remembers that goalkeeper used to take free kicks? Somebody in the chat, who knows ball in the chat? Somebody in the chat, who knows ball? Who was a goalkeeper? Let me know the name. Who was a goalkeeper used to take free kicks? Let's see who knows ball in this chat, yeah? There's a goalkeeper that used to actually take free kicks. Now, I don't think Onana should take free kicks. I know Ederson takes like penalties and stuff like that, which is crazy. But he was that goalkeeper to take free kicks. Super chat from Ahmed. Remember Radek Vitek, the Czech Republic goalkeeper. He played in pre-season for us, and now he's on loan. I predict he'll impress Amorim in pre-season. I don't remember him, but maybe he will. Hopefully he will. Someone said I missed a super chat. Which super chat did I miss? Did I miss a super chat? I don't think I missed a super chat. I don't think I saw it. Chilavert. Is that the guy I'm talking? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? You guys would know exactly who I'm talking about. There was a goalkeeper who used to actually take free kicks, which I thought was crazy. Like, that's the only time I've ever seen it. Other than Ederson taking penalties, I've never seen goalkeepers actually take free kicks. But yeah, let's move on to another player. I'm only going to do the interesting players, because I'm not going to do like Lindelof and that. Let's be honest, who's really that bothered about Lindelof? I want to do Kobbie Mainoo. Because I had a lot to say yesterday. If anyone was in the 10 a.m. show yesterday morning, I had a lot to say about Kobbie Mainoo. He is one of the guys for me who, I think he is a starter for most teams in the world. I think he's a starter for most teams in the world. If we were to go and sell him, he's starting for anyone other than like Real Madrid and that. Like, other than like Real Madrid and maybe like Barcelona, most other teams he's starting for. Let me know what you guys think about Kobbie Mainoo. Yeah, Chilavert for Paraguay took free kicks. I don't know how, any manager who is confident in their goalkeeper taking free kicks, you know, you got to give a round of applause. Because what if he hits the wall? Like, what if he hits the wall and all of a sudden it's like a counter-attack? That's so risky, but fair enough. Kobbie Mainoo, what are we saying about Kobbie Mainoo? Bench, starter, bench. Wow, a lot of benches, you know. Wow, I'm surprised. Sell Kobbie Mainoo for pure profit. He's probably at his peak value. You think Kobbie Mainoo's at his peak at 19? His peak value after playing 1 year of football? Fair enough. I think the whole pure profit thing, and I read this the other day about the whole just PSR, which I think is probably the worst thing to come into football, PSR, because it just means that most teams are just selling their academy talents, which is not supposed to be what football's about. You know, bringing up talents from your academy and then bringing them into your first team. But PSR just means that we have to now sell these guys to be able to buy other players. But anyway, one thing I read the other day in the MEM about pure profit is that, let's just say Kobbie Mainoo, we had to sell him because we needed the money. Let's say we sold him for £50 million. The reality is, we're going to have to bring in another player for £50 million anyway. You can't just sell Kobbie Mainoo and then go and bring in another young prospect. What's the point? He's 19 anyway. So what's the point of bringing in another young player for cheap? If we're going to sell Kobbie Mainoo, we're going to have to bring in a player who is a starter, or good enough to be a starter. Which means we're going to spend £50 million and then probably pay a huge amount of wages because you'd be buying him in, but bringing him in. So there actually is no point in selling a player like Kobbie Mainoo for profit because we're going to end up spending that amount of money anyway on another player and end up paying a large amount of wages for that same player. So it don't really make a lot of sense. But what we say about Kobbie Mainoo, hell no, keep him. Mainoo just wants to like to see him break into a run. Lacks physicality and pace. Wow. Mainoo going nowhere, and we love Mainoo. Starting bench 50-50 so he doesn't pick up injuries. That's a good comment. I actually like that comment. Out of everyone's comments, I like that one the most. Starting bench 50-50 so he doesn't pick up more injuries. We need to really nurture these young players a little bit more because the fact that he's had this many injuries already in his career is a bit concerning. He literally started off injured. Like I remember that his first, well, last season anyway, the start of the season with Ten Hag, he was injured for half the season and he came in and obviously played well for the second half of the season, helped us win the FA Cup. But now this season, he's obviously picked up a few more injuries, so it would probably be a lot better if there was a bit more of a 50-50, so we can actually nurture these players a little bit better instead of forcing them into the team every single game, playing 40, 50 games a season. But anyway, bring in Balotelli. Yeah, I don't think Balotelli. I'm never bringing a City player. I'm not one of those guys. No City player can come to my team, unfortunately. Now look, let's move on to another player. This is going to be I know it's going to be a 50-50 one. Actually, no, I don't think this will be 50-50. Mason Mount. What are we saying about Mason Mount? Are you going to start Mason Mount? Are you going to bench Mason Mount? Or are you going to sell Mason Mount? Let's see what you guys think about that. Because in my opinion, Mason Mount, I'm sorry. I'm tired now. I'm tired. I think Chelsea robbed us, first and foremost, because what was he, 55 million, 60 million, around that? I ain't seen a 55 million pound player. The amount of games he played, in fact, I wish I could actually see how many games he played, because I think I'm pretty sure he's missed more games than he's played. I'm pretty sure that he has to have missed more games than he's played, and I think it'll take a while, even if he'll start in every single game. I think it'll still take a while for him to catch up. I genuinely think it'll take a while. In my opinion, it's a sell. And it's an unfortunate sell because I think he's a nice guy. In fact, I've met Mason Mount. I think he is a nice guy. It's unfortunate because, like I said, he's been at a peak in his career, which a lot of players wish they could get to. As in, he's won a Champions League, he was an England international, he was doing a lot. Like, he was actually a very well sought after player in the Premier League. A lot of teams wanted him. And Chelsea, in my opinion, if he didn't have that period of time where he kind of fell off, he would still be starting for Chelsea right now. But I think since then, he's just completely fallen off a cliff. And it is a bit unfortunate, but he's got the number 7. He's got the number 7. We need a better player in that position. And we need a player who actually plays for us to kind of be a starter for United. Sell and retire the number 7 until someone steps up. I'll be so real. Let's talk about the number 7 actually, quickly. Talk about the number 7 because that shirt, lost all meaning when Ronaldo gave it up. That shirt lost absolutely every single ounce of meaning after Cristiano Ronaldo. Nobody since him has earned or warranted wearing that number 7 shirt. And when you actually consider the players that had that shirt, Beckham, Cantona, who had it back in the day? Was it George Best? Who had it back in the day? Like, was it in the 60s? Was it George Best or one of those guys? But that number 7 shirt held so much weight. And then if you know, out of nowhere, we just ended up giving it to like Valencia and did Di Maria have it at one point, and Michael Owen and like bare random players that just ended up having it. Absolutely just, was it George Best? Yeah, it was George Best. I feel like it just lost all meaning. There's literally a hospitality section at Manchester United called the number 7. We haven't had a good number 7 in like 10 years. In fact, obviously Ronaldo took it back when he came. Obviously he took it back, but the first Ronaldo from 2008, that number 7 shirt has lost absolutely all meaning. Like, who do you think in this team deserves the number 7? If anyone, who do you think deserves the number 7? In my opinion, nobody does. I don't think anyone does. Cavani had it, fair enough. Cavani had it for a bit, but I still don't think he deserved it though. I don't think when he got it, he deserved it at the time. He was decent for us, but I just think that was it. Like, he was just decent. I wouldn't put Cavani in our top 10 strikers. Like, I think if anything, someone like Berbatov probably deserved it more than Cavani, or even like, I don't know. Who else has been a striker for us? Saha or like Ibrahimovic, I don't even know, but I don't think he earned it. I just think he was a very good player for us at the time that we needed him. I don't think anyone deserves it, I'll be so honest. Ahmad or Garnacho, you think Garnacho deserves a number 7? Really? Like, deserves a number 7? Oh, I don't know about that. Onana? I'm not going to repeat what the producer just said to me about Garnacho, but I don't think anyone deserves it yet. I don't think anyone deserves it. I think maybe when we get to a point where we're actually competing for titles and we're competing for like big trophies, whoever is our best attacking player, give it to him. But until then, hang it up. Go hang it up at Old Trafford. Just put it on the, you know where it says Sir Alex Ferguson stand? Just hang it up on there. Let it stay there until somebody deserves it. Let everyone actually think, you know what? I need to play well so I can get that shirt. That's what it should be. We shouldn't just be giving it out because it's in the first 10 numbers of the... We're not one of those other teams. We're not one of those other teams that don't have special shirts. No, we have a special shirt. That's what makes us different to other clubs. We should like treasure that shirt and actually make a player want to get it. Not just get it because they come to the club and the shirt's available. Anyway, look. Yeah, anyway, back to Mason Mount. A lot of people did say sell. Someone said keep it as a relic, same as a number 9 or 10. Then once a player deserves it, it can be an event. Facts. Reward a player for their efforts. Facts. Reward a player for wearing that shirt. Don't just give it out because it's a new signing and because it's available to just be given out to someone and because they want it. Nah, we're not one of those other teams. We're not one of those other teams. Someone said no one in this club, they'll give it to Branthwaite. Facts. They'll give it to Branthwaite. But look, one more player that I'm going to do. One more player. We've done, who's the first player that we did? We did Onana, then we did Manu, then we did Mason Mount. The last player that I want to do is Dalot. I'm not saying I want to do Dalot. I want to talk about Dalot. Do you think we should sell Dalot? Do you think we should start him? Do you think he should be on the bench? I'm talking about next season, by the way. Do you think he should be on the bench? What do you think about Dalot? Super chat from Nathan Medhurst. Because we are buying players so young, they can be molded and coached for various positions in the squad. Yeah, that's a good point. We are buying, most of the players that we do buy are under the age of 25. However, this moulding thing, I don't think it's as easy as people think. I don't think it is, because you look at a player like, I'll give 2 examples, a player like Manu and a player like Garnacho. Both of them came through the academy. And in my opinion, there's only so much moulding you can do to those 2 players to put them in certain positions. Like, I think Manu, as good as he is, there's only 1 or 2 positions that he can really play. You know, we can't just stick him anywhere and expect him to just play well there. Same with Garnacho. I think he's only destined for that 10 role. I don't think he can be moulded into a left wing back. I think it's difficult to really mould certain players because of their just natural instinct of how they are. But yeah, Dalot. What? There's a lot of sells in here. Wow. Sell, what? Sell, bench, sell, bench, sell. I've seen 1 keep. What? A lot of people are saying sell. That's crazy. I actually thought it'd be different because, I mean, considering last season, let's be honest, he was what? He was our player, I think he was our player of the season or something like that, but he was definitely our most consistent player of the season and arguably one of our best players of the season. But I'm surprised that a lot of people are saying so. I didn't realise he was, I know, yes, he's had a poor season this season, fair enough. But do you not think he's just valuable anyway, just to have in a team? I feel like he's a player who, if we just need him, let's just put him on the bench, and if we need him for whatever reason, you know, Dorgu gets injured, Mazraoui gets injured, he can fill in that position. Do you not feel like he's good enough to do that? Fair enough, a lot of people say he needs to go. You know what, we'll see now. I'm not going to run a poll today. Maybe not one of the other shows we'll run a poll. But I'm actually surprised that a lot of people would sell Dalot straight away. But yeah, and I think also the fact that he's durable. Him and Bruno are our most durable players. They play every single game without fail. I think Bruno has missed like 3 games due to injury over the last like 2 years. Insane. I mean, not even 2. I think it's more. I think it was 3 years. He's missed like 3 games due to injury, which is crazy. And I think Dalot's another player that's same. He doesn't get injured. He's a player that's always going to be available. So I think that's a valuable asset for him. But yeah, look. I think that was a good show. I'm not going to go through any other plays. I know a lot of people are still debating Dallo and whatnot. But look, thank you guys for watching. I don't know who's going to be doing the shows later on today, but it might be Mark, might be Terry, I'm not sure. But make sure you go check those shows out later on. It's an international break, so we ain't got no games. So I can't even say, oh, I'll see you in a forum or something like that. It's a bit dull, really. But I'm going to see you on another show, maybe this week, maybe next week, probably going to be next week. But thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to see you on the next one.